Okay, guys, welcome back to the Coach Steve Show today. Who came back? I did not scare him off. Is the man, the myth, the legend. The biggest guest I probably had on is Coach Rudolph from Ohio University, the O-line coach. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you. Two things about that. Number one, I did such a poor job the first time. I felt like I had to come back and try to at least redeem myself. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, like I said the last time when you said I'm the biggest guy that maybe you've ever had on the show, man, we may be dragging the bottom of the barrel calling me big time. I can promise you.
Well, because some coaches, when they get to Division I, they're like, nope, I'm too busy, or they just don't talk to us lonely high school coaches. There's some that don't. I think you're one of the only ones. I've had others, but I think you're the biggest university-wise so far.
No, you know what, Coach? My dad was a high school coach in Mississippi for years, and I understand. Heck, there are far better coaches coaching junior high football, coaching high school football, coaching Division III football, coaching Division II football than I am. You know, so. Two things. One, always want to try to help anyone, any way I can. And then secondly, I think I can learn from anyone, anywhere. It doesn't matter. You know, the level that you're at is what you've chosen. It says nothing about your knowledge of the game or you know, the ability to teach the game. So I appreciate that, but you know, I'm just an old high school football coach from South Mississippi that lucked up and found his way to Ohio.
Yeah, if you guys hear a dog barking, it's the 95-pound chocolate lab in here somewhere. She's barking this morning at something. We're probably in danger of a squirrel coming at us. And yes, we have squirrels in the Chicago suburbs. People don't believe that. There's animals. It's not all city. And then we just talked, things are going good over there real quick. You know, we talked about there, but things are going good. Everybody knows a coaching change, but like we talked about before, it's really nice when the staff stays together. You know what I mean? There wasn't this big change. So now you were talking about just a second ago, now you can keep that consistency instead of blowing it up.
Correct. And Coach, I want to thank, you know, our president, our athletic director, Julie Cromer, and, you know, the whole administration of Ohio University. I think they, you know, they looked at it and said, you know, what's best for our university, what's best for our football program, our athletic department, our football program, but more importantly, what's best for the young men that are already in our football program. And, you know, that's how they made the decision to, you know, hire from within. Tim Allen's a rock star. He should have gotten an opportunity like this a long time ago at very many other places. So he is very, very ready. He's been a head coach at a national championship football program before at an NAIA school in Oklahoma back before he hooked up with Coach Solich at Nebraska. So it's not his first head coaching thing, and he's been highly successful as a head coach, highly successful as an assistant. So, hey, I think it was his time. And you know, we're you know, losing coach, you know, but then we're excited because we think Tim is the right man to take over for coach, and it's just going to build on the foundation that Coach Solich has put in place here over his 16 years here.
And everybody should know, on another podcast, we talked about the MAC, and a lot of us picked Ohio to win some games this year. So there's we're going to add some pressure.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, I'll be watching.
Way to ruin my Saturday morning as I've been up watching film and I have to go back and watch some more. Thanks.
Oh, you want to watch our film? You can watch ours and be like, I feel better. And I want you to know, last time we talked, I said an Ohio shirt is coming. I told Bannister I got one, but it's delayed. It's been a week. There's truck driver shortage.
Yeah, there's a truck driver shortage. I've heard that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, like we didn't get our helmets. We've only had our helmets for 2 weeks. Like that's what And then the school we just joint practice with, they've only had him for a week.
That is crazy.
Like that, when we practiced with them, they were in shoulder pads for the second day. Like nobody's getting them till now.
Wow.
So I'm worried about injuries in the fall. Like,
no doubt. And you, last time we talked, I didn't realize what you guys have gone through as far, really, not only you as coaches, but your kids. And because of how everything got pushed back into the spring and what they've gone through, what their bodies have gone through, and honestly, what their minds, I mean, they've had no mental rest either. Mm-hmm. So in combination with the equipment problems, and man, there's, I agree with you. You worry about the safety of the kids.
That's why after next Wednesday, they are off until August 9th. And then that's when we get rocking and rolling. So they get a nice break.
Yeah.
We get a nice break.
Yes.
We're getting burned out too. In high school, some coaches are there every day. Some can't be there every day. But us that are there every day, we're getting a little burnt out.
Yeah, I bet.
Then we get rocking and rolling, and then back to school, and back to fighting things that are going on in the world right now that we're not going to talk about. It's maybe taking a step backwards, but that's the next fight. We gotta,
right.
Yeah. But I know you're short on time. I'm going to dive right into it. We're going to talk more zone because that's
awesome.
That's all I've been doing is finding stuff on YouTube, texting people, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with our kids. So I was going to ask you, like, for your guys' inside zone, and maybe we talked last time, I don't remember. When you go up against an odd man front, because you combo zone. So when you go up against an odd man front, 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, doesn't matter. Are you still telling them to like look for a combo with the zero tech? Because like we used to triple team, but then what scares me with that is the bad angle you may take for a backer.
Yes.
Do you guys still look to combo, or do you tell them to go to the tracks to get up to that backer?
No, we still combo, and we will combo the nose with a backside guard and center. The front side guard is actually going to read the knee of the front side technique. So most 3-3 teams, I'm assuming you're seeing a head up nose and 2-5 techniques. Mm-hmm. So if we're running zone right, and when I say zone, I'm referring to inside zone. But we actually, as uncovered linemen, we use a scooch technique. So I think that keeps us square. It also gives me the ability to really stick that outside foot in the ground and get vertical to a backer. I think sometimes when you bucket step, you naturally cross over a little bit when you're uncovered with a second step, and I start running a little bit of a bow to the backer, and that backer can back fit me a little bit, and I'm not. So we actually laterally scooch so that I can stick that outside foot in the ground, and we read the knee. And if the knee of the five technique, we call it up and away knee. So if the inside knee goes up the field or away from me, then when that second step hits the ground, I'm going to stick that outside foot in the ground, and I'm going to become very strong vertically and strong with my backside half. That way, if the nose, as we stick our head slightly front side with our center on the nose, or if we're getting any type of blitz movement from the backside and we're getting big movement from that nose, that'll create a natural combination between our front side guard and our center with the movement on the nose. If we're not looking back for movement, but I'm going to stick that outside foot in the ground and really bang back vertically. And I think it does two things. I think it creates strength to help me with any movement coming from my backside. And it also gets me vertical on a vertical path to that backer so that I can't get back fit, but I also suck the air out. The thing I like about working against an odd front, especially on the inside zone, is the defense has created bubbles for me. Mm-hmm. Right. So I want to try to maintain those bubbles as much as I can. If you just take that front side stack backer and walk him down and he's a 3 technique, now I've got to get vertical distortion. Well, he's already given me vertical distortion by alignment. So I want to suck the air out of that block as fast as I possibly can to maintain that bubble in the defense that they've already created for me. So that's what our front side guard is doing. Our center against an odd stack look is going to, we call it leaking. I'm going to leak we call it a load deliver. So I slightly leak my load. Some people would say it's like a small bucket step, but I don't want to think I'm bucketing because I don't want to run away from my help. I've got backside help. Mm-hmm. Run away from that because now we're starting to get split between the backside shoulder and backside hip of the center and the front side of my guard coming to me. But I'm going to just slightly leak front side, and then my second step is a deliver. We teach a half bench. I'm coaching college kids. I think there's also conversation to teach an actual 45-degree flipper right there, potentially, if you're coaching some undersized kids, maybe whose strength isn't what it needs to be. That could be a whole different conversation. We could talk hours just on that right there. But we teach a half bench with a backside hand. We want to drive the backside palm of the hand through the sternum of the nose and force the backside or covered hip vertical. We want to get vertical with the second step through the crotch of the nose. Okay, but vertical. I don't want to see this with the center. I want to see this with the center. I want to see it trying to get vertical and strong with the backside half. And then our backside guard is uncovered, so he's doing just what the front side guard did. He is scooching, and our landmark is the midline, so center, fit, and half man. I'm going to take whole man if we're working to a middle stack. Now, if we're working to a backside stack, then we fit the combination a little bit differently. But middle stack, our track, we're pressing front side. So we're saying that unless there's some type of movement, that back, the front side stack backer should be fitting front side, or our back is not holding him front side like we need him to.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and work to overtake by the backside guard unless I get movement away. I get movement away, then all the things now I'm going to bang back because I may be getting movement from the backside. I may be getting some type of pressure where they're knifing a stack guy in B gap right there. I'm going to try to create a combo in the backside B gap if I'm getting movement out of the nose front side on my way to the middle stack backer.
Yeah, because last year I almost triple teamed. Instead of taking, if I'm the right guard, I didn't have him go this way. I had him pick the foot up, put it down their left foot, and then went just to see if we were, because we ran ISO like crazy, so we were getting slants, we were getting 4 eyes, we were getting all that, and then for some reason, my kids won't hear this. I don't care. For some reason, it's just like they just kind of look. They're not coming to the backer, or they're too worried about the nose guard. And then I try to tell them, I don't know if you do this, if my center can take him by himself, that's communication piece between those three. But now it changes. If the center can do it by himself, because I may have I moved a guard to center, I might have a guy that can do it.
Right.
Now we can just go. Now it becomes traditional.
Right.
I still want them to peak because we all know if a kid takes a play off or he doesn't want to do it, we're going to get this. And then my tackles, I don't know what you teach your tackles. I used to tell them just take the step with the near foot to kick out if they're wide. But now we're getting beat across our face. So now I have to change it to like knife with the inside foot and kick out.
Right.
But now my guard can't go help him out if something happens.
Right.
So it just all changed within a matter of a week. I had to change everything.
We with our front side tackle, 2 things about that would be different for us. We see so much movement, whether it be 4 down or whether it be odd or whether it be the new 4-eye odd, whatever animal we see so much movement in order to stop our run game. So we never say center, that head up nose is yours.
Okay.
He always has a backside combination coming to him There are some instances against some bear fronts based off of linebacker alignments, where we've got two true three techniques, true 5 down fronts with three techniques. We're not talking odd.
Mm-hmm.
That we will solo that center up and try to keep the combo on the backside three technique, because I think there's times if I cut that backside guard loose to the center, then that backside tackle's in a really big bind with the three technique. So there are times so I won't say that we don't do it, but we don't versus odd front. The backside guard is always in combination with the center. And then secondly, with the play side tackle, we 100% pop our inside foot, again, because of all of the movement that we're getting. We pop our inside foot, like you said, then angle step to drive block the center line of the cylinder, because now I'm not looking at a defender. I'm really looking at a cylinder. Mm-hmm. So I may be drive blocking through his inside breast because that is the middle of the defender as I see him. But I'm going to pop the inside foot just so I can have that guard, even though he has eyes to him. Even though he's got eyes to that right there, that way, if I don't get any movement, I can buy that guard a little bit of help with my center on movement coming to him. So we try not to, because I find sometimes when I cut my tackles loose, they overwork that, and so many defensive guys are great at when they feel drive block come at him or zone block come at him, they'll just knife the B gap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not, that's just a technique they teach. When I see head come at me, boom, I knife the B gap. Well, then all of a sudden we're starting to get things piled up in there where they don't need to be. So I try to make sure that they stay where they need to be. Now, depending on the width of the technique, I may do some different things with play side tackle, but as a base default rule, he's going to pop his inside foot to help us handle movement.
With the scooch technique, is that more lateral than?
Yeah.
I'm worried. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. I get worried about going lateral, losing power. Did you ever fear that at all, or you still can keep that power when the hips are coming through?
We gain even more power.
Okay.
Because we are creating running energy. The big thing we want to do is we want to run off the football. Well, now by me scooching, I'm creating some violent energy, and our kids are running off the football. So when we go vertical, we've already built up a lot of momentum to go vertical. So I understand the fear of that, and it all started for me with a backside tackle versus four eyes. We were seeing so much of that when everybody started playing the odd 4-eye deal. Well, I'm trying to get the backside tackle. I'm trying to make that 4-eye make a decision.
Right.
Are you a B gap player, or are you going to let me through to the backside backer on zone? So we started really violently scooching, and it started creating a lot of massive violent energy on the backside. And I'm like, okay, well, so then we started with our backside guard if he was uncovered. Never let anybody do it. I've never let anybody do it when they're covered. Mm-hmm. And I've even had some coaches ask me, well, have you thought about doing it? And when I say 4-eye, I'm trying to make that 4-eye, although I am covered by the 4-eye, I'm trying to make him a 5 technique. Mm-hmm. Or I'm trying to make him a 3 technique, if that makes sense. You got to make a decision. I'm not going to let you sit there and play a 4 technique and get the best of both worlds. So anyway, when I say we only do it when we're uncovered, I know everybody listen, dummy, you just said, when you got a 4-eye, but I'm trying to make him make a decision so I've had coaches ask me, well, would you think about doing that on a backside cutoff with a guard? Because a 2-eye is just like a 4-eye. And I've even been playing around with that and thinking about that, to be honest with you. I just don't think that necessarily marries the track of our back and the landmark of our back. And I think it's all got to go back to where is the ball in relation to the blocks?
Right.
I think that's where it's all got to start, and it's all got to be evaluated, and you've got to be on the same page as your running back coach and your offensive coordinator. And well, one kid's here, one kid. No, that is not good.
Because I think last time we talked, I told you I got in too deep with the gallop on power because I was trying to come up with a way to stay square and not give up any ground, or we want to gain ground on power at least.
Right.
And I think zone might be different. I don't want to do gallop on zone because I think they're too stagnant of looking that way. They have to have their eyes looking for a backer. And so I think I'm in too deep of, I tell them we're galloping so you can go up the field. So I'm afraid to do a scooch and tell them now we're going to go laterally.
Right. And I would not at all suggest it for this year because that is a fundamental technique that I think you need some time and an off season to really work and to really train for those kids to get good at it. Because you watch our kids and we'll scooch, and our eyes will tell us what to do, and then all of a sudden we're violently banging back. We've got our backside tackles versus all of the squeeze, scrape, and stuff on zone read. We will scooch, and then we'll sit down with that inside foot, and now we are flat trapping the chains, and we trap the scrape backer out. I mean, it has opened up a ton of things for us in the zone game, in my opinion.
I should have found you beginning of the summer, and then I could have done it. But we've already talked about how crazy it was. I didn't have time to think, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Yes.
And
yes.
I had to find something that universally fit everything without.
Yes.
But now I'm getting to the point where if this ain't working, how do I fix it?
Right.
That's why we're messing with inside zone.
Where's the track of your back?
They're telling me for the inside leg of the guard because on ISO we're aiming right behind the center because you got a nose guard. Center's going to double team. We want to see where he goes to look. Then we get insert.
Now, are you fitting up the combo on ISO differently than you're fitting up the combo on inside zone?
They're the same.
Okay, then I would say look at that because the track of your back is going to be different, and the reaction of the backers are going to be different, and how they're going to fit are going to be different. You know what I'm saying? That if you're tracking the butt crack of the center on the ISO, but then you're tracking the front side leg of the guard on the inside zone, I would look at, if we're running ISO, I may use inside footwork with the front side guard, but on inside zone, no, I'm not, because now the track of the back is my outside leg. I can go ahead and cut loose a little bit, and then knowing that it's going to hold that front side backer a little bit better because of where if the ball is going right, that backer is going to fit more back here. To me, just in my thought process, where is the ball in relation to the block? And I don't know that. So I would either look at maybe changing the combos or changing the track.
Yeah, because we were heavy ISO last year, and I came in and I said, what if I can make the blocking scheme very, very similar to combo block on inside zone? We're just going to kick out the end with the tackle. So it's really stealing reps. So that's a good point. Because I'm too worried about the lineman. I wasn't looking at the running back. I let the running back coach do it.
Right.
That's a good point. See, I'm dumb, so I don't know, but I'm just –
No.
My eyes are so fixated on the box.
Yes.
So if something doesn't look right, I'm like, how can I change this block? How do I drill this combo even more? How do I –
Right.
So that's a good point because I think they wanted ISO to hit more downhill because you got an insert. And then inside zone, he wants him to look at the guard.
Where are you inserting from? From behind or from front side?
Inside zone is offset. ISO is behind.
Okay. Where are you inserting the tight end from on ISO?
From a wing, so he's right outside the tackle. And
play side or back side?
Either one.
Okay. Do you look at them differently if he is? We're running it from the right. We're running it to the right. So it's ISO called right. The tight end is set to the right and he is inserting versus the tight end set to the left and inserting, even though it's the same. He will do both front side and back side.
We'll insert one guy. So
no, I know, but will you insert him
oh,
both
yeah,
side and back side
yeah,
and call it ISO right?
yeah. So like if it's ISO right, and if we call wing left ISO right, he'll run to the right. He's running.
Okay.
I think that's why they want him to aim downhill.
Yes.
Because he's going to cross his face, and now he can follow him if that's his aim.
Do you ever go wing right ISO right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you ever go wing left ISO right?
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to get ISO right and two different plays, but one time the wing could be on the front side ISO, one time the wing could be on the back side ISO.
Yep.
To me, that is two different fits on combinations as well.
Right.
Because the backer reaction is going to be different because I think most defense coordinators are teaching. So, and maybe not for you guys, but if our tight end or wing or H back, whatever, sniffer, whatever you want to call him, but if he's traveling across the formation, a lot of defenses we see, they are traveling with their eyes, everything is traveling with. So we have an ability to let our guys know up front, if our tight end is traveling across the formation, we know that, and we fit that slightly different combination wise than if our tight end, we're running ISO right or inside zone right, but it's insert, and our tight end is inserting from backside. We don't change our combos because backers are not going to travel with the tight end because he's not crossing the formation. So that would be the other thing that I would potentially look at as well. Are the backers reacting differently when the insert is happening from the front side versus when the insert is happening from the back side? That would be a thought. Because I know like divide zone, you guys run inside zone, but divide zone.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we fit it differently. If the tight end is set to the right, we're running inside zone right, and he is traveling, we fit the combination slightly different because we get fallback reactions from backers because they're chasing the tight end. So Tim was always great about telling us up front, hey, we're running divide zone and the tight end is traveling versus we're running divide inside zone, but our tight end is already set back here. They're not going to travel with him.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, where the back is and the track of the back fitting the combinations and the landmarks of the blocks, but where the back is and the ball is in relation to those blocks, and then are you getting reactions based off what you're doing with your tight end / fullback by backers? So we factor in all of those into how we fit the combinations.
That's a good point because we're trying to find a tight end. We lost our 6'3" tight end. He tore his ACL in rugby before the summer. We're trying to figure it out. So we haven't done a lot of away tight end, like wing right ISO left. We haven't done a lot of that this summer. Now we've done split zone. We've done all that. But that's a good point because everybody probably does this. If you run ISO right, we're ISOing the first backer to the right. The linemen know we're not trying to get to him. We don't care unless he shows up. But you're right. We're trying to flow this way. Well, if we bring the tight end, they're going to flow this way.
Yes.
That's a good point.
I would just look at all of that and see if it fits where you're fitting the combos.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that when we get off here because I don't think we've done that this summer because we're trying to convert a tight end. We're trying to find – we may not have a tight end this year. It might just be a wing. And that's we may not have that. But that's why, like, looking at it, I started to wonder to myself, like, would wide zone help this out at all? But we haven't done anything like that. They have never done it, ever.
Right.
That's why I don't even know if I should do it now. But that's why I keep researching it. And then I'm figuring out how you block it because the aiming point's different.
Yes.
And then how do I drill that? How do I make sure they understand covered uncovered? Is it the same as inside zone? Is it moved over? Because I know some coaches, if he's head up, you're not covered. They want the other guy to come get him.
Right.
That's what I've been sitting here trying to figure out for the past week and a half of how do I drill this if I come in and say, let's do this.
Right.
You might have the kids to do wide zone. We might be able to push them horizontally instead of vertical. So, like, how would you drill a wide zone? Like, how different is it for you drilling it than inside zone?
To me, quite a bit different. And then rule wise, wide zone. And to me, when you start saying we're going to run inside zone and wide zone, then a lot of other things need to start falling off the call sheet.
Okay.
Because both of those plays are really, really expensive, individual, fundamental plays. So, when in my mind, you start trying to, God rest his soul, but if you've ever studied Alex Gibbs, who I think is one of the best O-line coaches ever to live, but probably the greatest wide zone coach. I mean, there's great ones out, but I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He was unbelievable at it. And he flat out, has said in clinics, you can run inside zone and you can run wide zone, but when you start adding, well, we're going to do some gap scheme, we're going to do some this, we're going to do some pin and pull, we're going to do some this, we're going to,
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to really be good at inside zone and wide zone.
Right.
Because you got to pull and you got to rob things from those two plays. And to me, those two plays have to be all encompassing. Now, I personally also am going to add on to that, depending on how much practice time you have. I know for us, it is very difficult to be married to both inside zone and wide zone for us because they eat up so much time. I believe that you need to major in one and almost kind of minor in the other. Buffalo was unbelievable at running the wide zone. If you want to go watch cut-ups, go watch Buffalo from last year. I mean, their O-line guy and what they did up front was phenomenal, okay? Did some great stuff. But they did run inside zone. They did run a little bit of duo, but that's really about all they did. But they majored in wide zone and probably minored in inside zone. Where if you watch the Bobcats, we're going to major in inside zone and we're going to minor in wide zone or gap scheme, whatever the or is, it's going to be a minor, so that's just my, to me, if you're going to say, well, let's be in a wide zone and an inside zone team, then some of that other stuff needs to fall off the call sheet, and me as an O-line coach, I would fight for what I just said, with my OC. Hey, you need to tell me what you want to be. We can't be all of these. We won't be any good at any of them if we're going to try to be all of these,
right. Because
unless you're just that much better than the people you're playing, then you can line up and run anything you want.
Yeah, you could call peanut butter and jelly, and they're gonna be like, "You got it." And
yeah.
Because when I came in the COVID year, they want to be heavy gap scheme. I said, "You got it. That's my job." Then I'm the guy that comes in and goes, "Well, what about inside zone?"
Right.
And I convinced them because they had bad luck with it before, and so I'm
right.
I'm like, "You got me now." Well, it's fine. You have to have a little confidence in it. Like, it's fine. We'll get it done.
Right.
And so we did. We were power, inside zone, ISO. That was our bread and butter. We knew we were going to call one, and then I got him to do pin and pull afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Right.
This summer, not to give anything away, I don't know when I'll release this. We're just having a hard time with a tight end. And I personally look at it and go, I don't want to run power unless we got a good kick out guy. I don't think it works.
Mhm.
You can do power read, but you got to set it up in my
Right.
in my world.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, why don't we just do inside zone? That's got to be the play. And so maybe that's why it's more frustrating because we called it a lot. And so maybe that's why we're doing it way more than we did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're doing ISO because I think, and like I said, we haven't crossed yet. We haven't
Right.
crossed the tight end. So I'm like, this is similar blocking. So we're stealing reps.
Right.
Now our aiming point's a little different. Like you said, if we're doing ISO left, the right guard in the zone is going up. Well, now he's going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. And I think
Right.
that's where they're getting confused. So I may have to go in and say, we got to marry inside zone and keep it.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm just researching because I'm that guy. I'm like, how can I make this easier? How can I help out this team? And my mind is just going 100 miles an hour. And then you just had a therapy session right now telling me about wide zone. That was my therapy session of talking me.
Well, and I just, I think, the pig was committed in the breakfast I ate this morning. The chicken was just involved.
Right.
That chicken didn't give up his life for that breakfast I ate this morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I look at plays I look at run schemes that way. To me, inside zone, wide zone must have a commitment.
Right.
They're big. If we're going to run these now, hey, if you say, okay, we're not committed to that, but we want to get the ball on the perimeter, then hey, okay, I can get the ball on the perimeter by running pin and pull. But to me, pin and pull is not a commitment play. It is an involved play. Yes, we need to rep it. We need to work it. But we're not giving up our life for that play. You know what I mean? There's some involvement. I think there's some commitment to gap scheme. So I don't know that you can do 3 commitment plays. That's just me. So if you're going to be an inside zone team and you got to be committed to it, then I think you almost have to say, well, are we going to be committed to, not to say you can't run gap scheme, but you're going to have to know exactly what you're wanting to run gap scheme against, and then get out of the plays that you don't want to handle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All right. So, hey, we're committed to inside zone. We're committed to gap scheme. Okay. Then you only run wide zone versus these looks and these movements and these pressures. And if it is anything other than that, we're not doing it. So then it has to become, to me, a check with me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Because you don't want to waste time repping them if you're not even going to run it that game because they're not giving you the looks like on film.
Correct. So that's my, inside zone for us, we have to be able to block everything or
Right.
have an answer for everything.
Right.
Gap scheme, or why, to me, for us, we're going to be inside zone, and then we kind of make a choice as a staff based on our football team, based on, like you're saying, my tight ends, my O-line, our quarterback. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but are we going to be married to gap scheme? Or are we going to be married to wide zone? And those, we're going to be married to 2.
Right.
We're also going to run option, which everybody knows. That's a staple in Coach Solich's offense and Tim's offense. We're going to run option, so those take reps. So I don't believe you can be committed and married to 3. I just don't. And do the other things that you have to do, because you're going to have to do some draw. You're going to have to do some this. You're going to have to do some that. But to me, there's huge commitment in inside zone. There's huge commitment in wide zone. And then I think there's huge commitment in gap scheme if I'm going to take those and say, hey, you know what? We're going to call those 3 plays, whatever they are, and we're going to be good no matter what the defense is doing to us.
Yeah, because we may have to give up power because That's what they wanted. And it's just not going the way we want. That's why I said inside zone's our answer. So
Right.
that's a good point because we were going to major in both of those, and that was it.
Right.
And then I come in, let's do ISO, like an idiot.
Right.
It worked though. It worked. That was our play until we picked up the inside zone. But it took us to our fourth game last spring for it to click.
Right.
And then this summer, I think I was too simple in June, too much technique, and not enough scheme. So now we're getting more into scheme. And I think that's why I'm seeing the growing pains.
Right.
Because we talked last time in the spring, I just did scheme and I sacrificed, but then it clicked. And then this summer, I flip flopped. We're going to do all technique, scheme in July.
Right.
And now I'm seeing the growing pains of it. And it was the first time we saw an odd man front, so it was very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is. We go against another team, they're going to come after us. And they did. And I'm glad they did because I got to see. I think we can fix it, but you know how it is. I start thinking of, can I do this? Can I do this?
Right.
And we're not even to the games yet. Like we still have 30 days. Like we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
But
there's no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. But at the same time, you know, you guys as a staff I think, have to make a decision about, all right, who are we, who we're married to, and who we're committed to, and what we're just involved. You know, and I think that is hugely important because the commitments, you have to be good versus everything. You know, so you as an O-line coach, we're going to have to rep odd stack. Well, they may not, our team we play, they don't run odd stack. I don't care. They may show up on it on Friday night, and then you can't tell the OC, well, we can't run inside zone because they're in an odd stack front.
Right.
You know that, but I can say, hey, we're not running wide zone this week because, you know, wait, we showed up on Friday night and they showed up in the front we're not ready for. The involved plays we can take out. The committed plays we better be great again. You know, so what am I committed to in the run game? And I got to be great versus it all, you know, by the time game time shows up. You know, I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No, it does. Happen to me as an OC years ago. They, on film for 5 weeks, all they ran was this front. So I told them, I said, this is what we're going to do, but I want you to practice against an odd man. They didn't. I just kept walking down the O-line. They're not doing it. What did they come out against?
Yeah.
They came out at 3-5 because they wanted to mess with our angles. They wanted to mess with this. Yeah. And our kids just went like, what was this?
Yes.
My OC career. That was fun. I like just being the run guy. Like, this is what we're going to do. You don't want me calling plays no more. It'd be mesh and zone. That's all it's going to be. Well, Coach, I know you got to go, so I really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it. I hope it helped.
No, it did. That was my therapy session. That was me talking.
That's just some craziness from a knucklehead that, you know, you probably should throw that out, whatever I just said, but yeah, that's kind of how we look at things.
No, that's speaking my language. It's talking me off the ledge. And then I'll have a vacation here coming up for a week. So more time to talk me off the ledge.
Recharge that battery, brother.
Oh, I will. I'll be doing nothing. Literally.
Because isn't it true that you can know all the scheme, all the X's and O's, all the fundamentals, but if you don't bring energy, you don't bring excitement, and the kids don't enjoy playing for you, and that you don't develop a culture in your O-line room, it really doesn't matter how much scheme or how much technique or how much fundamentals you know if you don't bring those things. And I think in order to bring those things, your battery has to be recharged. You have to feel great about what you're doing, who you're doing it for, who you're doing it with. You know, I think so. Hey, use this week to recharge your battery, man. So when you roll back in and you are going, that, you know, you're fresh and bringing the goods.
That's true. We're getting the ends of the dog days of summer. I think that's why we're all on edge. So I think after the week to 10 days off, we'll be back. It'll be ready.
Good.
We all know how the dog days of summer go. It's a grind.
Good.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate it. And anytime, anything, shoot. Hey, and anybody out there, go follow me and DM me. It may take me a couple of days to get back or whatever, but I love talking ball and trying to help in any way I can. Again, I may help by telling you how not to do something versus telling you how to do something because I've screwed it up a bunch. So, but hey, reach out to me. Love doing it. Love talking it. And Coach, if you need anything, holler at me.
You got it. I probably will. Don't you worry. It's going to happen.
1,000%. Yeah.
Well, guys, it's another.
Talk bad about Nicholas Banster.
Talk bad about Nicholas. We need another hour or two.
Have a great day.
You too, guys. That's another episode. We'll see you next time.